maybe likes them together. I'm not sure. You can ask him later. And he also played at CU. So, can you guys please welcome back for the second year in a row, Justin Adam. If I gave you, because I'm a guy who likes money. I don't know about you. I don't love it, but I like it. Because I like giving some things. If I gave you $86,400, what would you do with it? Pause for a second before you respond. If I gave you $86,400, what would you do? Talk to your friend about it. Go ahead, talk to somebody about it. What would you do? Alright, good. Now this is the way I do it. I'm going to pick out 3 people. And the way I pick out people, I just don't pick out people with raising hands. I just randomly say, you right there, brother. Yeah, you with the hoodie right there. Come on, stand on up. You're doing great. Come on up over here. Give him a hand, by the way. Come on up here. Come on, ladies. Gold girl in the yellow. Yes, ma'am. And mustard. Yes, ma'am. Come on up here. Come on. Come on. Yeah. This way you know you got somebody right. He's like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Oh, he looked at me. Oh. All right, everybody over here. Come on up on stage. Come on. Give him a hand, by the way. Come on up. All right, so the question is, if I was to right now give you $86,400, what would you do with it?
I'd buy a plane.
You buy a plane. What type of plane, by the way?
Honestly, just a little personal plane.
You would buy a plane. That's pretty cool. Okay, what would you do with it?
I would invest in like Lyft IPO.
My man, you got a technology head over here. Yeah. What would you do? Let me slide this way.
I'd probably put most of it in savings and have like 1,000 or something for myself and some for like the church and other stuff.
How about that? All right, y'all can sit down now. Give him a hand, by the way. By the way, I forgot one variable because I like to forget things every so often. It's pretty cool. But see, this $86,400 that you have, you're going to get it tomorrow. And you have to use all of it today. This $86,400, you have to use all of it today, and then tomorrow, you're going to get another $86,400. Think about what you would do with it. You don't have to respond this time. But think about what you would do with that. Because you do have that every day. I want to let you know that you do have that every day. Now you may say, I don't have that in my bank account. What are you looking at? No. That's how much time you have in a day. And that's how many seconds are in a day. 86,400 seconds in a day. 86,400 seconds. The question is, how are you spending your time? How are you spending your time? What's interesting about BOCO and everything, and I love this, is we're talking about the Creator. We're talking about God, how He's created us. And the one awesome thing that God has created us here on earth is He has created us with some awesome limitations. And one of the limitations is being stuck in time. We are stuck in time. Right now you're, 14, 18, but what age groups we have around here? Just for blur them out. I know we got like 50, 60 in the back. Oh yeah, 15? Okay. One day you will be my age. I'm 32. Shocker. Appreciate that. Thank you. I feel so much younger already. And there is a day, though, that will come that all this is going to come to an end for your life. 100% death rate. Wow, that's a downer. But it's the reality of being in this life. I was so surprised I was still smiling after that. That's pretty cool. So I have a question to ask you, though. The question is pretty simple. How are you spending your time? Now, if you have your Bibles, or if you have the iPhone and you have the Bible app, do me a favor and turn to Psalms 39. Psalms 39. By the way, guys, I want to tell you something that's pretty interesting. What you're going to get today, and what we're going to talk about today in the Word, your parents and people your parents' age spend thousands of dollars on just to hear somebody speak about it. I'm going to give it to you free. Is that all right? Is that all right? Come on, talk to me. Let's go. So we're going to look at this guy by the name of David. David was a beast. Love this dude, David, man. But David, at this part, he's looking at the human life, how fragile it is. How fragile life is. And he asked God a question that I hope that you will ask him. As we leave here, I hope that you will ask him. All right, number one. Let's jump to verse 4. It Is everybody there? You can raise your hand, say amen. Amen. Well, we got this going like a Pentecostal church. All right. It starts off simple. Lord, make me to know my end, and what is the measure of my days, that I know how frail I am. Indeed, you have made my days as handbreadths. By the way, handbreadths, breathe it to your hand real quick. Do it one more time. That's your life. Crazy, isn't it? It doesn't seem that way, but in the grand scheme of everything, that is your life. Alright? And my age is nothing before you. Certainly every man at his best state is but a vapor. Surely every man walks about like a shadow. Surely they visit themselves in vain. And he heaps up riches and does not know who will gather them. By the way, I just want to talk about verse 6 real quick because it seems kind of weird. Like, how many people work like kind of job right now? Okay? So here's the weird part about your life, okay? You're going to gather a lot of money. You're going to work very hard. You'll buy some things. You'll take care of your family. Be a husband, be a wife, take care of your kids. Once your life is over, you have no idea, nor do you have any control on who takes over your wealth. I'm going to let that sit in for a little bit. That's going to like click when you get like 25, 30, 35. You look at bills and kids, you be like, what we going to do? Alright? No matter how hard you work, you have no idea who's going to manage your wealth after this life is over. Okay? Alright? I want to quickly jump to verse 7 as well. And now, Lord, what do we wait for? My hope is in you. Keep a star on verse 7 right there. We'll come back to that, alright? I work in a place of time. I have the pleasure of being at CBS 4 and also on KOA's radio, as well as Orange Blue 760. So in TV, I have about 2 minutes to do sports. Talk about the Broncos, entertain you, leave you with something quick, and then I'm out. Like, for real, I'm out. It's like, hey, thank you so much for being here, and commercial. Like, or whatever, right? Like, I'm out. In radio, I have 15 minutes. But even in that, it's time. Every second is time. That's where I'm at. So guys, again, I have a question. How are you spending your time? Everyone in this room is a leader. Everyone in this room is a leader. I'm going to have a paradigm shift here today, because I don't know if somebody had that click today. You are a leader. And as a leader, know this. Leaders don't kill time. They don't waste time. They value it and redeem it. Leaders don't kill time. They don't waste it. They value it and redeem it. So how can we do something? Before I get there, there are some time wasters. Who loves social media? Who has a social media page or anything like that? Now this is interesting, because when I was a kid, like, I used to always feel like an adult, be like, oh, you don't get up on us and all that again. Here's the thing, I'm right there with you, okay? I'm the person who wakes up in the morning, I'm like, what happened in the game? What happened on Facebook? I'm a YouTube junkie. Like, if YouTube was my boo, like, we'd be married right now. I'll be like, what's up, YouTube? We'd be like, hey, what's up? Hey, else, okay? So according to Adweek, this is interesting, all right? According to Adweek, social media, okay? In your lifetime, you'll spend 5 years and 4 months on social media. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? 5 years, 4 months of your life on social media, okay? So here's a couple of averages real quick. For YouTube, you know my boo over there? Okay. Spend 40 minutes on YouTube. I'm going to be very honest with you, that is about right. More like an hour for me, okay? On YouTube, it's 40 minutes. How about for Facebook? It's 35 minutes. Snapchat, 25, Instagram, 15, and Twitter is what? So what can you do if you had an extra 5 years to your life? What could you do if I could add an extra 5 years to your life? According to this article in Adweek, it said you can run a marathon over 10,000 times. Running a marathon is 26 miles. I don't know how many people go run a marathon. I did a half marathon. I cramped up halfway. I couldn't, it was so tough. I hurt myself, okay? You can also walk your dog 93,000 times. Who walks their dog that many times? But you can do that if you added an extra 5 years and 4 months to your life, okay? So with that being said, how can we redeem our time? I need you to flip to one more chapter if you don't mind. Let's go to Ephesians, okay? Go to Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5, okay? We doing all right? Come on, we use some more energy. We doing all right? Also, if somebody has like the Bible app, you can just like pick over and be like, oh, Ephesians 5:15 through 17 says this. Therefore be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time because the days are evil. So they do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. The number one thing that Paul advises us is this. Analyze our lifestyle. Let me ask you right now, what are some things you want to do with the life that God has given you? What are some things you want to accomplish with this life? What are some things? The number one thing that Paul tells us to analyze our lifestyle. As we jump back to verse 15, he says, therefore be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise. Who are the people that you associate with? How are you walking? Okay. Number two, utilize the present, i.e. a planner, goals for the day, or what is the most important thing that you have to accomplish? Verse 16 says this, making the most of your time, underline most of your time, because the days are evil. Guys, how are you using this time? One thing that I've learned that helped me out was that early in the morning, what I get a chance to do is just make a goal sheet. And sometimes I don't get to it, but at least I get to write it down and say, this is my goal for the day. The problem is, have you ever seen people like throw darts before? Who ever seen that before? Like people throw darts? What's the goal of when you play darts? So you can shout it out to me. Like, what's the goal of playing darts? Like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to do what? Hit what? That's funny because what happens is a lot of our lives don't hit anything. And you know why? Because we don't aim at anything. We're just going at whatever in life because we don't have any goals or anything set up. So we like this and then we wonder why we're 30, 35 and we haven't done anything. Let me ask you, what are your goals? What bullseye are you hitting? What are you hitting? What are you hitting in your life? Last but not least is this, number 3. Prioritize what's important. Verse 17. So then, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Understand what the will of the Lord is. I'm almost done, by the way. We're talking about time. Got to be honest with you guys. While every leader, every day gets the same amount of time, not every leader gets the same results. What's the difference between you and president, richest man in America, a whole lot of football players that are going to be on today? What's the difference between you and them? Honestly, what's the difference? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because you all get the same 24 hours in a day. The question is, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Here's some priorities of what we could do. If you have the Bible at one time, I said we're not going to turn the page, we're going to turn to another verse. Go to Mark 1:35. Mark 1:35. Here's some things from me to you, alright? Let's look at what Jesus did. In Mark 1:35 it says, in the early morning, because somebody said early. Somebody say early. With a yawn too, because that's early in the morning, okay? In the early morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, went away to a secluded place, and was praying there. In the early morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went away to a secluded place, and was praying there. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go early in the morning, kick through the door, hey, mom and dad, I'm leaving the house. I got to go to a secluded place to pray with the Lord. Like, that's not it. But you can wake up, side of your bed, and go and pray, spend some time with God. In college, one of the things that I did, which I don't know why I did it, but you try to do things where you're really holy, but you really look silly. So I would literally wake up, roll out of bed, and the first thing that I would do is pray. So I would get like 3 words in, and somebody will find me asleep with like my knees like this all over the bed and everything. It was weird, but one thing that you can do is be able to wake up and be with the Lord in the morning. One of the best things you can do is do that. 5:30 in the morning is a great time to wake up, guys. It's tough. I get it. Trust me. I look at 5:30 and I'm like, no. It's an awesome time to be able to wake up. I say this because, like, what time does school start, for example? 7:30, right? So let's go through your day, right? 7:30. You wake up at 5:30, you spend some time in the Word. Say 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes in prayer. You have time to go and get dressed. You have time to go and do whatever other things you need to do, and to make goals for the day, and to keep it moving. If you struggle with being late, that's a way of doing it, okay? Number 2, and most importantly, is to be able to renew your mind, guys. Romans 12:2 says this, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen somebody play a guitar, just grab the guitar out the case and start playing? Have you ever seen that before? Like somebody just grab a guitar and just start going. Or an athlete, just jump out the car, put the helmet on and start going? That's silly, right? What did they do? But what did they do? No, I mean, like, so if I get off the bus, right? I get off the bus and I have a game to play. I don't get off the bus and start running, right? You stretch. Interesting, right? Because what does it mean when you're stretching? You're getting your body what? Ready to do what? Ready for the game, right? How about if you're a musician, right? You take that guitar out. The reason why you're going to start, okay, let me tune some things up because you want to make sure that when it's game time, everything's ready to roll. And I'm playing great notes. So let me ask you this question. As believers in Christ, as believers in the Lord Jesus Christ, why would you dare wake up early in the morning and leave out that door without talking to the Lord first? Why? And I'm going to be honest, this is not, I'm speaking to you, but it's just to me. Why would I wake up in the morning, jet out the door, and not be tuned up by the Lord first? Not be renewed in my mind first? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? So, I go back and say this again. My conclusion is simple. As we talk about time, as we talk about how God has created you, it's pretty simple. Who is your hope in? I go back to the last part of verse 7 of Psalms 39. And it says this, and now, Lord, what do we wait for? My hope is in you. When we look at this life, if your hope is in anything but Christ, it's going to fail. Guaranteed. Oh, you may look successful. You may make some money. We've seen that. It's not going to be everything it could be. I go back to Bill, actually. What a great story. Because he had an opportunity to be able to say, I'm just going to stay at IBM, move my family to a different area, and we're just going to see what happens. And as he said, he could be laid off in a month. And for those who don't know what that means money stops at that moment. It stops. But he was obedient to God. And now look what he's doing. Look what the Lord has for him. Let me ask you a question. What does the Lord have for you? And it all comes back to how you use this time. I'll leave you with this note here. And it's pretty simple. Because last year I had a pretty easy thing that you can get used to, right? For those who were there. It was learn it, live it, and then teach it. From last year, y'all remember that? Who's here from last year? Learn it, live it, teach it. Y'all remember? Okay, cool. Here's one here. Either you live intentional or you will go through life accidental. Either you live intentional or you will guarantee go through life accidental. Oh, I found $5. How did that happen? Oh, this happened. What are you going to do for the Lord? Are you going to live intentional? Are you going to live every day as best as you can intentionally? Are you going to do that? Or are we going to look at your life and say, well, you just took whatever came out and went through life accidental? God has placed you here at this time on earth to do something amazing for His kingdom. To be able to serve people in an amazing way. So I ask you this question again. How are you spending your time? And what are you going to do with this life? Is that all right? Is that all right? Let's go to the Lord in prayer before we go. Dear Lord Jesus, I just thank you so much for today. For everything that you are. And thank you for this verse, Lord. As David let us know how fragile this life is. But I pray, Father, that we would ask our leaders, that we would ask our parents, that we would ask our friends, amen, how do we live in our lives in accordance to the Scriptures? That I no longer just want to go through this life and let time pass it by. But Father, I want to live intentional. I want to live for your glory intentionally. Because I don't want to walk out of here accidental. We love you. We praise you, Father. In Jesus' name. Amen.